It's Wildy having a 5-minute chat with the Katter candidate for the Hinchinbrook electorate for the upcoming by-election, Mark Molachino. Just putting on the 5 minutes. How are we?
Good, Wildy. How are you, mate?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Straight into it, mate. What's your connection with the Hinchinbrook electorate?
Well, I was born and raised and schooled and worked in the Ingham district growing up.
Yep.
Went through school there, left school. Worked in the sugar industry, both hauling out in the processing side and also on the rail network up there. So yeah, I know that sort of area very well.
Now, I've heard a lot, like a lot of people would, there's a lot of commercials going around about you at the moment. Katter Party, what's your connection with the Labor Party?
So when I was in council, I was a member of the Labor Party for about 4 or 5 years.
Yep.
Tried to work within that to try and affect change, to basically bring them back where they actually represent the people they represent. And had no luck with that, Wildy, so yep, mate, I made the decision on my morals to walk away. I left.
So what made you think, okay, I'm going to run for Hinchinbrook?
Oh, well, look, obviously Hinchinbrook's my hometown. Hinchinbrook electorate is where I grew up. I know it very well. Obviously the opportunity arose when that seat became vacant, when Nick is running for mayor, and I was approached by the Katter Party. And look, I was a member of the Katter Party in 2011 to about 2015 for 4 years, and then I walked away. Well, basically, we sort of went away and did our own sort of thing. And yeah, basically they gave me a call and said, hey, listen, there's an opportunity. Would you be interested? And I hadn't really considered it. And talked to my family about it. We said, this is an opportunity here to keep the good things happening that Katter have been doing and Nick's been doing in the area, and keep the fight going down in Brisbane.
Now, with the Hinchinbrook electorate, what are you hearing from the constituents that are the main issues that need addressing?
Yeah, look, the big one obviously for the North Shore area is that North Shore interchange. That's been left a bit of a mess by TMR with bits of ads on here and there. And, we have one accident down on the bridge, the lower bridge there, or we have a flood and that gets cut off, it goes back to single lane. So the main highways then become single lane again. So we had one accident down there the other day and cars were backed all the way up to Mather Street. And this is people wanting to get home. We need to make it safe and we need to make it efficient for people so they can get to work and back. So that's the North Shore area. There's a couple of issues with flooding and stuff up in the Hinchinbrook, sort of the Ingham area. We've got, Seymour, and we've got the Gairloch floodway, which is going under constantly. I think it was closed something like 16 times within 3 months, beginning of this year. And we've also got, when we talk about the Hinchinbrook electorate, it's made up of 1% of the population of Queensland, but we have 14% of the road deaths.
Yeah, wow.
A lot of work needs to happen on that highway, and I don't think enough of it's happening. We need to push more for more funding.
And why do you think you're the best candidate for Hinchinbrook?
Well, because, Hinchinbrook, we talk about two separate areas. Obviously we have the Northern Beaches area, which is part of Townsville. I've worked in local government for 8 years. I've done a lot of work in that area. I know a lot of people up there, but we've tried to fix things in there with local roads and infrastructure and development in there. Obviously the Hinchinbrook region, Ingham, I've grew up there. I've still got family there. The cemetery's full of my relatives up there. So, it's important we have someone there that's prepared to take that fight down to Brisbane for them.
When you look at Hinchinbrook, there has been talk of redistribution.
Yes.
Do you know what's going on there?
Yeah, look, there's talk. Obviously, Queensland's growing. The southeast is growing. So the Electoral Commission says, hey, we need to look at redistributing, which means that you can only have a certain amount of people in each electorate. Now, Brisbane's growing such an exponential rate. We've only got 93 seats, so they need to find a seat somewhere to take to Brisbane. Obviously, the LNP has come out and they've said that their preference is to take a seat out of North Queensland and send it to Brisbane. Now, obviously, that's not ours. We believe they should go and jump.
Yep.
We need more representation here, not less, because we're a small part of a small population of Queensland. The majority's down there, and I think we get told enough what to do from the southeast.
Yep.
And that's why it's important we keep those seats up here.
And the Katter Party, obviously, isn't as big as the Labor Party or the Liberal Party. So do you think, you can make enough noise being in like the Katter Party to represent Hinchinbrook?
Well, the good thing about the Katter Party is that you're not bound by the Brisbane party rules. If you come to me, Wildy, with an issue and say this is important to me and it's important to the electorate, I can go to the media and we can talk to the media and tell them exactly what's going on. You can't do that in the two big parties. You need to get permission from your masters in Brisbane, and then they may allow you to say something about it as long as you don't go outside the box that they give you. Katter Party, you don't have to worry about that. And that's what I like about it. You can speak your mind for your constituents.
Yep. And as you said, you discussed it with your family before you decided to run. So what does it mean to your family if you do get elected? Obviously, you know, it's not a 9-to-5 job.
Correct.
Representing Hinchinbrook. So your family's cool with that?
Yeah, my daughters are very excited, obviously, for me to represent that area because, you know, it means I get to spend a bit more time in England with my parents and they get to come up and see their grandparents as well. But no, look, they're 100% on board to support me with that. And, you know, they've experienced that political life when I was in council for those 8 years where we have things to do. But, you know, I try and involve the family as much as I can in those events and when we can, and they come along and experience it as well.
Excellent. Well, Mark Molachino, candidate
Thanks,
for the
Wally.
Katter Party for Hinchinbrook, all the best.
Thank you, Wally.